global economic chaos or poison for the global economy. Those are some of the kind words coming out of our primary trading partners, our counterparties, talking about Donald Trump's latest tariff war that he just started. I thought we were done with this in April. No, he's been lurching from one decision to the next using social media. He just sent out a whole round of, get this, form letters. Yes, like he's a bill collector. Form letters where they don't even reflect the current state of the negotiations that he's conducting with some of the 150 countries, just listing the exact same ridiculous tariff amount, 20%, 30%, 40%, that was listed back in April that sent the economy over the cliff. He's done it again, folks. And those trading partners are just throwing up their hands saying, we're either going to wait for Donald Trump to chicken out, the taco moment, or we're going to work our way through this and join together and band together with other trading nations to oppose the United States. All of this is, in a word, chaotic. In another word, it is fatal. It is fatal to the U.S. economy, ultimately. Donald Trump wants to reform the entire trading relationships overnight. It's not working. I worked on Wall Street. I know some of the guys in the inner circle for Donald Trump. I may not have agreed with their policies. I've been astounded and gobsmacked by their policies, but at least I thought they had a brain. I'm looking at you, Commerce Secretary. I'm looking at you, Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. I mean, you're letting Donald Trump do this? And not only is he sending out form letters to 140 countries, what happened to 90 deals in 90 days, according to Peter Navarro, the recently released from prison trade representative for Donald Trump? Where'd that go? You know how many deals we have at this moment on this date? Barely 3. One that I know of that's been released is Vietnam. If anybody thought our economic problems we're going to be resolved by solving a trade deficit with Vietnam, I don't even know what you're talking about. All right. The one with China, haven't seen it. They talk about it, but I haven't. Rare earth metal magnets. We need them for our manufacturing, whatever they are. Where's the deal? Where's the beef? It's nowhere. And now form letters going out. Are you effing kidding me? I'm Michael Popok. I'm not effing kidding you. You're on Legal AF. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what Donald Trump has done since April, what he's done all over again, as our main trading blocks, right, are not quivering in fear. They're laughing at Donald Trump and what he's doing to the global economy. We don't even have a deal. This is already July, right? August 1st is when the tariffs go up, allegedly. The European Union, 27 nations, arguably our largest trading bloc, we have no deal. It was supposed to be a 10% deal on things, except for on Airbus and a couple of other sectors of their economy. There's no deal in place. And not only is that, now he's turned from retaliatory tariffs on trade deficit to sector tariffs, meaning he's going after sectors of the economy. Copper, he suddenly announced out of the blue, like, I'm telling you, he's demented. He belongs, I won't even tell you where he belongs. My late mother would say he belongs in Bellevue. For those who grew up in New York, that's a mental hospital. He announced 50% tariff on copper, sending the copper market over a cliff. But that's not all. He's threatening a 200% import tax on pharmaceuticals. At a time where Americans can't get their hands on cheap enough pharmaceuticals, we're gonna tax pharmaceuticals at 200%, wrecking the Indian economy, who sends out billions and billions of dollars of pharmaceuticals to the United States. Right? All of these sector ones on top of the trade deficit, retaliatory tariffs. Now, some people might think, well, he's an evil genius. He must know what he's doing. Really? He has lurched from one social media post to another. In fact, listen to this, some of the countries that got hit with the form letter in the last day found out about it on social media that Donald Trump posted. Is that an appropriate diplomatic way to negotiate trade policy? Where is Congress? Congress is supposed to be setting tariffs and excise taxes, not allowing the president to do it, but they're not doing anything to rein him in, MAGA Congress. That's why you got to hold them accountable at the midterms. You got to pin this tail on that donkey because that's where we are with it. So when he's not doing weirdo sector tariffs on copper and pharmaceuticals and automobiles, he's going after countries and their sovereignty. How about the latest one? Brazil, which is one of our major trading partners, Canada, Mexico, China, Brazil, almost 200 million people in Brazil, just down the street from the United States, south. He's threatening them with a 50%, 50% tariff because he doesn't like what they're doing for their version of Donald Trump to try to overthrow their democracy, Bolsonaro. And they put Bolsonaro in jail. Oh, the very fine leader, Bolsonaro. Yeah, the Trump of Brazil that went to jail and is going to jail and is being prosecuted. Unless they drop the prosecution in a sovereign country of their criminal justice system, he's going to hit them with a 50% excise tax while the prime minister of Israel, who's obviously extending the war in order for his own electoral fortunes, he's told, or the public is told, that they're going to hit Israel with excise taxes as well, unless they drop all the criminal charges and drop aid, unless they drop all the criminal charges against him. Now he's getting involved with sovereign countries and their criminal justice systems about leaders that he happens to like and wants to play pool with. This is rational economic policy, or this is the demented, fevered stew of a mind that is in control for now, has his hands on the controls and has his hands on the switch of the American economy. Let's use Canada as an example. He was making headway with Canada. They're led by a rational person, their new prime minister, a central banker, formerly of Bank of England and Bank of Canada, knows what he's doing around the economy. And Trump threatens him with a 35%, Canada with a 35% tariff because they're going to tax digital services at a certain rate. Again, trying to interfere with their sovereignty and their finances. So we're going to take on Canada, China, Brazil. The only one that seems for now to be safe, but who really knows under this erratic crazy man that's occupying the White House, is Mexico. Because he has a soft spot, I think, for Claudia Sheinbaum. More to the point, she knows how to play Donald Trump like a fiddle. And he somehow respects her. She's brighter than he is, or ever will be. But she's the only one so far that's been able to come up with it. And the rest of the world and logistics and global trading partners are hanging in the balance along with the poison that Donald Trump has injected in the global economy. All right, let's get this straight. He takes the U.S. out of the U.S. economy, right? He's shrinking the federal government. But that's just a hackneyed phrase that belongs on a bumper sticker. What he's doing is that he's reforming and destroying the relationship between the American people and their government and their social safety net. Every time you hear reduction in force, firing people, defunding, that means your umbilical cord that you need to have dignity in life, to have food, to have education, to have health care, to not worry about your children at night or your grandparents or your parents or yourself or a catastrophic injury, God forbid, that befalls you. To have that, there's certain things the federal government, and only the federal government, is large enough, big enough, and has the large enough to help you. Donald Trump is trying, as Grover Norquist used to say 20, 30 years ago, that he wants to shrink the government so small that it can be drowned in a bathtub. That means your Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment, child health care support, food stamps, and the like are being eliminated. He's destroying the relationship, the funding relationship between the U.S. government, the federal government, and the states, through which they then administer through programs in the states like alleviating childhood poverty, illiteracy, disease, and the like. That's now been destroyed. And it's not helping. It's not like he's doing it to put money back in your pocket. The people that are being harmed are red state people who don't file taxes or don't pay enough in taxes that even if he cut them, it would help them. They need the social safety net he's just destroyed. So he's taken the U.S. out of the U.S. economy. We are not a pure democracy. We are not a pure capitalist system. I wouldn't want to live in one where only the people who can achieve and make millions and billions of dollars like Trump and his family, only they are benefited by the society. There are people that just can't keep up in the race. There are people that come in last, and that's okay. They're still Americans and they still have dignity. And we should be treating them like fellow Americans and citizens and voters and not like yesterday's trash. So by removing the U.S., the federal government and its funding out of the U.S. economy, hear that great sucking sound, as Ross Perot used to say? That's the shrinking of the U.S. economy. When you take tens and hundreds of thousands of federal workers and you put them on the unemployment lines and federal contractors who employ people, and you take away their funding, you shrink the State Department and you put 20,000 people on the unemployment rolls, or you spend money to put them there, that is a drag on the U.S. economy. When you cut global spending for humanitarian aid, for State Department aid, for military aid, that is a drag on the American economy, because behind every global international dollar is an American job. Now add to it, you're taking America first, out of the global economy, making it so others don't want to trade with America. Who's going to step into that breach? China and Russia. It's only helping the Chinese and the Russian governments and their economies by taking you don't think China is stepping in right now in the void that has been created by Donald Trump in just the 150 or 180 days he's been in office? If you're a traveler and you've traveled, for instance, through the Caribbean, you will see infrastructure in Caribbean islands not being built by America, by China. You want to see roads, bridges, and tunnels and ports that are gleaming and beautiful? They've been built by Chinese money because they're trying to gain influence and a sphere of influence in places that we have now abandoned. When you shrink the State Department and you shrink its humanitarian aid arm and you shrink its power and influence around the world, China steps into the breach. So does Russia. So does other countries. It doesn't make us better off. America First doesn't make us stronger. It makes us weaker. We went through this in the 20s and 30s. We went through a depression over it. And yet, Donald Trump, despite the polling numbers saying that he is deeply unpopular by like 20 and 30%, which is going to doom the party, his cult at the midterms, yet he still doubles and triples down, pressing a losing hand. And who's losing at the end of this day? Forget the performative art pieces. Forget the rhetoric. We're losing as Americans. Donald Trump doesn't care about us. You see the press conference he just gave from the Oval Office into the cabinet room during a cabinet meeting? What should have been on his mind is the loss and suffering in yet another natural disaster and the loss of several hundred people in Texas, including a lot of little girls in cabins at a Christian camp. But you know what concerned him? On one hand, during the cabinet meeting, he said, and his press secretary said, this is a national disaster. We shouldn't be pointing fingers. We shouldn't be saying that there's politics involved with an administration that denies FEMA and the funding it needs, denies global warming and science around it, and did nothing to protect those people. He says in the middle of it, while he's saying we should pull together with a natural disaster, while the governor of Texas says things out loud like, it's a football team, ma'am. It's a football team? The loss of dozens of little girls and hundreds of other people during a flood on your watch? That's just a football game? Well, we'll get them next time. You know what Trump said during his cabinet meeting? He should have been talking about Texas and chided a reporter for not talking about what just happened in the disaster in Texas that he's now just getting around to go visit? Those tides reside, that rising tide, 25 feet in the air, they receded a long time ago. Can you imagine if Biden waited this long to go visit a place like the Guadalupe River in Texas? So he's in the cabinet meeting and he looks up at the crown moldings. He's still like he's into finishes, fixtures and finishes, like he's still building buildings. It's like, I think I should put gold. I think I should put gold leaf around where the crown molding meets the ceiling. What do you think about that, Linda McMahon, multi-billionaire, used to run World Wrestling Enterprises? Yeah, I think gold leaf would look good there, President. Yeah, it'd be a good thing. Gold leaf? That's what you're worried about in the White House as you wreck again the global economy? We got to continue to shine a light on the perversity and the abuse of power of Donald Trump every day, every hour, right here on Legal AF. I'm glad you've joined us. Hit the free subscribe button. Until my next report, I'm on the road now, but I'm with you, not only in spirit, but in video. I'm Michael Popok, and I'm reporting. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.